Welcome back, everyone. Ready to dive into some more fascinating stories.
Always.
Today, we're taking a look at teen social dynamics. All those ups and downs of high school life.
All that drama.
Exactly. And we'll be using Striking Out with the Star Pitcher by Maggie Dallen as our guide. Think Lakeview High, typical high school scene, cliques, romances, all that.
The whole shebang.
So whether you're reliving your glory days or just fascinated by this whole social maze, get ready for some serious insights.
This book really hits on that feeling of not fitting in, especially in high school when everything feels so intense.
Totally. And our main character, Simone, she's like the poster child for that. A
Yeah.
self-proclaimed introvert trying to find her place in the Lakeview High hierarchy, surrounded by people, yet somehow invisible.
Yeah, she's kind of living in the shadow of her best friend Jax, who's part of the in crowd, right?
Yeah.
Plus, she's got this secret crush on his bandmate, Tony. And then there's her close group of friends, each with their own romantic hopes and, well, struggles.
Makes for a pretty interesting mix of perspectives, right? And that's what makes it relatable. The book dives into those awkward moments we all remember from high school. Like right away, we see Simone feeling a bit lost when Jack starts dating Rose. Rose is, well, she's the picture of popularity and confidence.
Yeah, she's got it going on.
So suddenly, their usual lunch table dynamic changes, and Simone feels even more out of place.
It's like high school in a nutshell. All right, one little change
Yeah.
and the whole social landscape shifts. You start questioning where you belong, feeling invisible, not really part of the conversation.
It's a feeling that resonates, even beyond high school, right?
Oh, absolutely.
But what's great is the book contrasts those lunch table moments with the genuine connection Simone finds with her own group of friends.
Yeah, it highlights that difference between surface level interactions and actually connecting with people who get you.
Exactly, finding your tribe.
That's the key right there.
And speaking of connecting, things get really interesting when Simone and her friends decide to tackle their romantic anxieties head on. They create this flirting study group, like a crash course in social skills.
So clever. It's something we can all relate to, that fear of not knowing how to act around someone you like.
For sure. And in a surprising twist, Simone ends up getting advice from Rose herself.
No way. So the popular girl is actually a mentor.
Exactly. It breaks down those stereotypes we often have about different social groups.
Definitely shows that appearances can be deceiving. Even the most confident people have their own struggles.
And then Rose brings Andrew into the mix, star baseball player, part of Jax's crowd. She wants him to help Simone with her flirting studies, which leads to some pretty hilarious encounters.
So Andrew, the popular jock, is giving flirting lessons. I'm intrigued.
Right. And here's the thing. Andrew notices that Simone tends to fade into the background, but instead of dismissing her, he gets curious.
Interesting. So he's not just interested in the stereotypical popular girls.
Not at all. He sees something unique in Simone, which challenges that whole high school cliche, right?
I-
There's this one scene at a party where Simone is feeling totally overwhelmed. Andrew picks up on her discomfort and leads her away from all the chaos to a quieter spot.
Oh, that's sweet. He seems really perceptive.
It is. It shows a different side to him. And as they hang out more, they discover this unexpected common ground. They've both lost a parent.
Wow, that's a powerful connection.
It makes you think, right? Sometimes those who seem the most different are actually bound by similar experiences.
Absolutely. It's the power of vulnerability.
And it creates this shift in their dynamic, from awkward flirting practice to moments of genuine connection.
They're seeing each other in a whole new light.
Now, this is where things get complicated for Simone. She's dealing with her feelings for Tony, who, let's be real, isn't always the nicest guy.
Oh no, a classic love triangle.
You got it. But at the same time, her connection with Andrew is growing, especially as she sees how kind and genuine he is.
Talk about inner turmoil.
To make things even more dramatic, Jax finds out about Simone's crush on Tony and doesn't take it well at all.
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah, there's miscommunication, hurt feelings, and Simone starts questioning her self-worth.
It's tough when friendships get caught in the crossfire of romance.
It really is.
Yeah.
But then we get this insightful conversation between Jax, Rose, and Andrew. They're talking about Simone, about how innocent and vulnerable she is when it comes to romance.
So they're looking out for her.
They are. It shows that sometimes our friends see things in us that we might miss.
It's like they have a different perspective.
And for Andrew, this conversation is a game changer. He realizes he has feelings for Simone and wants to protect her. He sees her as someone who deserves to be treated with care.
Wow, that's a big shift.
It is. So now we're at the concert, Tony's band is playing, and Simone is expecting this magical night.
Oh, I bet.
But instead, she sees Tony for who he really is, and it's a moment of clarity for her. Her priorities start to change.
So the illusion is shattered.
And in a bold move, Simone decides to leave the concert. She goes looking for Andrew instead, and, well, this is where the real drama unfolds. There's a heartfelt confession, and let me tell you, it's a scene packed with emotion.
Okay, now I really need to know what happens next.
But you'll have to wait for part 2 to find out.
You're killing me.
Yeah.
What's really cool about Striking Out with the Star Picture is that it doesn't just focus on Simone. The book dives into the lives of her friends, and each one is dealing with their own romantic ups and downs and insecurities. It's like getting a glimpse into all these different high school experiences.
It's like a kaleidoscope of high school life. Take Avery, for instance. She's got this major crush on Alex Lovin. He's a transfer student who seems totally clueless about her feelings.
Unrequited love, a classic tale.
And Avery's attempts to win him over are, well, straight out of a teen magazine. Remember those articles? How to make him fall for you in 10 easy steps.
Oh, I remember those.
Accidental bumps in the hallway, elaborate schemes to get his attention. She even gets her health teacher involved so she can be partnered with Alex for a project about taking care of a fake baby.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. But it does make you think about the pressure young people feel, especially girls, to be someone they're not, just to be liked, you know.
It's that whole idea of trying to fit a mold.
Exactly.
And then there's Maxine, the pragmatist of the group. She's all like, flirting study group, please.
Mm-hmm.
But underneath that tough exterior, you can tell she wants to connect with someone who appreciates her for who she is, not just her sharp wit.
I feel like a lot of people who act cynical or guarded can relate to that.
Totally. And then there's Charlotte. Super bright, kind, but painfully shy. She's got this secret thing for Robert, who doesn't seem to even notice she exists. It's almost like a modern-day Cyrano, you know?
Oh, that's heartbreaking. It makes you wonder how many amazing people go unnoticed just because they're not the loudest in the room.
Exactly. It makes you wonder how much potential is missed because people don't feel comfortable being themselves. And even Rose, Jax's seemingly perfect girlfriend, has her own vulnerabilities.
Really? Like what?
This fear of failure, this need to keep up this image of perfection.
That's so relatable, though, especially with social media and everything.
The pressure is real. The book really does a great job of showing all these different sides of high school.
It's so much more than just the typical stereotypes you see on TV. It shows all the awkwardness, the uncertainty, the stumbles we all go through trying to connect with people, whether it's romantic or just friends.
Speaking of friends, one of the things I love about this book is how it shows female friendships as this incredible source of strength and support.
Simone's friends are like her safe haven. They accept her, encourage her, no judgment.
They get her.
And it's not always perfect, right?
The book shows the conflicts, the misunderstandings that come up even in the closest friendships. Jealousy, hurt feelings, miscommunication.
Makes it feel more real, doesn't it?
Definitely. The book does a great job of challenging the usual stereotypes about high school groups. The popular kids aren't just villains, and the outsiders aren't just victims.
Like you said, it's more nuanced, more realistic.
Even characters like Jax, Rose, and Andrew, they have their own insecurities and problems.
They're not just walking cliches.
And on the other side, characters like Simone, Avery, and Charlotte, they're shown as smart, capable people with their own dreams and goals.
It makes you question that whole us versus them mentality that we often see in high school stories.
But the book doesn't shy away from the dynamics of power and popularity either.
How so?
Well, we see how being at the top of the social ladder can lead to this sense of entitlement, even if it's unintentional. Like Jax, he's not a bad guy, but sometimes his actions reflect this unconscious bias, especially towards those who feel less secure or less seen.
It's interesting how the book brings up those subtle power dynamics. Makes you think about your own actions and how they might affect others.
So true. But amidst all these heavy themes, the book manages to be funny and heartwarming too.
It finds that balance, right?
There are moments of witty banter, lighthearted fun, and genuine tenderness, all those things that make the characters feel so real.
It captures the whole spectrum of adolescence. The good, the bad, the awkward, the amazing.
You know what else I appreciate about this book? The way it portrays family dynamics. The parents in this story aren't just background characters. They're actively involved in their kids' lives, offering guidance, support, and sometimes a much-needed dose of humor.
They add another layer to the story, don't they?
And they're not perfect either. They make mistakes. They struggle to understand their kids sometimes, but their love is always there.
It's realistic.
Yeah.
Shows that families are complex, too.
Definitely. And one thing that really struck me is how the book explores the impact of past experiences on our present lives.
Like how?
Well, we see how the loss of a parent has affected both Simone and Andrew, shaping their views on relationships, taking risks, even just how fragile life can be.
It's like the grief stays with them, influencing their choices in ways they might not even realize.
And it's through that shared experience that they really connect on a deeper level. That shared vulnerability creates a space for them to be open with each other.
It's the healing power of shared experience, especially when it comes to something as painful as loss.
We've talked about Simone, Avery, Maxine, and Charlotte, their friendships, their families. What stood out to you as particularly insightful or relatable in this book?
I was really struck by the emphasis on self-acceptance. We see Simone struggling with feeling inadequate, comparing herself to others, questioning her worth.
It's a universal experience, isn't it? That feeling of not being enough.
It's like a constant battle.
Hmm.
But what's so inspiring is that Simone eventually learns to embrace who she is, flaws and all. She realizes her unique qualities are what make her special and worthy of love and belonging.
It's a powerful message, especially in today's world where we're constantly bombarded with images of perfection.
And it's not just about accepting yourself. It's also about having the courage to challenge those societal norms that tell us who we're supposed to be. Like Simone's decision to pursue a connection with Andrew, even though he's part of the popular crowd.
She goes against the grain, follows her heart.
And that theme of challenging expectations, it goes beyond romantic relationships too. We see it in Avery's passion for her interests, even if they're not considered cool or feminine.
And in Maxine's refusal to fit into this box of how a girl should act.
And in Charlotte's quiet strength, navigating a world that often overlooks introverts.
It's a message of empowerment, reminding us all to embrace our individuality, resist the pressure to conform, and celebrate the qualities that make us unique.
Striking out with the star picture doesn't just preach this message. It shows it through the characters' experiences. We see them making mistakes, learning, and ultimately finding their own paths to happiness.
Now, we've covered a lot of ground: self-acceptance, friendship, social hierarchies, family relationships. But there's one more piece of the puzzle we need to talk about. Avery and her mission to win over Alex Leuven.
Oh yeah, that's subplot. It has a whole other layer of humor and, well, a touch of sadness.
It's classic unrequited love, and Avery's attempts are both hilarious and a little misguided. The elaborate schemes, the accidental run-ins, even enlisting her health teacher for that fake baby project.
It's like watching a rom-com unfold, but in real life.
But Alex remains clueless. He's focused on his own issues, especially his relationship with his brother.
So it's like a parallel story, reminding us that sometimes, no matter how hard we try, some connections just aren't meant to be.
It's a tough lesson, but a valuable one.
It's about self-respect, knowing when to let go, and accepting that we can't control how other people feel.
Even though Avery's efforts don't work out the way she hopes, her journey's still important.
How so?
She grows as a person. She becomes more self-aware, starts prioritizing her own needs, and ultimately finds happiness in other parts of her life.
It shows that resilience and self-discovery are so important, especially when dealing with heartbreak.
And it reminds us that our worth isn't tied to whether or not we have a romantic partner.
Finding happiness within yourself is key. And striking out with the star picture actually does a great job of showing different paths to happiness.
Like with Avery, she finds joy in her friendships, her creativity, and her own self-confidence.
It's like the universe is saying, hey, there's more to life than just finding a boyfriend.
Exactly. Avery's story is like this reminder that sometimes when you let go of what you think you want, you open yourself up to so much more.
Yeah, it's about trusting the process, having faith that things will work out in the end.
Totally. Embracing those unexpected turns life throws at you.
And who knows, maybe down the line, Alex will finally see Avery for the incredible person she is.
Fingers crossed.
But even if that doesn't happen, she's already found her own happiness. And that's what matters.
Couldn't agree more. Now, I'm curious, if we could jump into this book and give these characters some advice, what would we say? What wisdom could we share after seeing what they've gone through?
Ooh, that's a tough one. If I could talk to Simone, I'd tell her to keep trusting her gut. She's so strong and resilient. She's got this. She needs to remember that she has the power to create her own happiness.
Yes. Simone, listen to your inner voice. And Avery, I'd say, keep shining bright, girl. Your optimism is infectious. Don't let anyone dull your sparkle.
I love that. And to Maxine, I'd say, let those walls down a bit. You're amazing, Maxine, and letting people in will only make those connections stronger.
To Charlotte, I'd say your quiet strength is a superpower. Don't be afraid to let it shine. The world needs to hear your voice.
It's amazing how each of these characters, with their unique struggles and triumphs, come together to tell this bigger story about being yourself, accepting yourself, and challenging those expectations that try to put you in a box.
Maggie Dallen really captures the essence of the teenage experience, all the messy, confusing, beautiful parts of it. It's a reminder that even in all that chaos, there's beauty in finding yourself and connecting with others.
And those themes, they stay with us, right? They're not just for teenagers. We keep learning those lessons about relationships, about who we are throughout our lives.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into striking out with the star pitcher, think about your own experiences. How have you navigated those social waters? What moments have shaped how you see yourself and your relationships?
Whether you're thinking back to high school or just fascinated by the teenage world, this book is a journey worth taking. It's heartwarming, insightful, and full of those aha moments.
It's a story about friendship, about being true to yourself, about finding your place in the world.
And hey, maybe it'll even inspire you to dig out that old yearbook and reminisce about those awkward, crazy, amazing years.
Those are the days. Until next time, everyone.